King of kings is he, the Lord of lords is he, the man of Galilee. The King of kings is he, the Lord of lords is he. Let's talk about Jesus more and more. Let's talk about Jesus, the King of kings is he. The Lord of lords is he, the man of Galilee. The King of kings is he, the Lord of lords is he. Let's talk about Jesus more and more. We're going to read from the book of Acts. Acts that we talking about Stephen. When we said chapter 1, it said, and the high priest asked Stephen, are these charges true? And he answered, brethren and fathers, listen to me. The God of glory appeared to our forefathers Abraham when he was still in Mesopotamia, before he went to live in Haran. That's in Genesis chapter 11. Just to cut this passage short, I will have to explain a bit of it. He explained how God called Abraham to leave his father's house, and to the promised land. How Abraham got there, and he said in verse 4, it says, so then they went forth from the land of the Chaldeans and settled in Haran. And from there, after his father died, transferred him to this country in which you are now dwelling. So he's just explaining about Abraham giving birth to Isaac, Isaac giving birth to Jacob, how Jacob got married, had the 12 children, how Joseph went to Egypt. He talked about Egypt. And at the same time, he talked about farming. Where Abraham was living, there was farming. And at that time, Joseph was in Egypt. Joseph was sold into Egypt as a slave, and he rose to become a prime minister in Egypt. He explained how the prophecy came that Abraham's children will be as the stars. That means they will multiply. They will be like the stars, to tell you how great, how mighty, how they will fill the earth. After explaining that, he went on to tell us that when they were there, and that God said the nation that they will go, they will become slaves for 400 years, and that God will visit that nation with vengeance, which happened. He explained how they were there. The Israelites were multiplying, and the Pharaoh that was there did not recognize Joseph. He does not have any dealings with Joseph. So, and he couldn't understand why these Israelites are doing great. They are multiplying more than that's the Israelite, more than the Egyptians. So he said before they take over the land, so he became cruel to them. And he started killing the firstborn, all the firstborn of the Israelites, all the male son was killing them. And Moses at that time was born. Moses' mother nurtured Moses, breastfed Moses for 3 months, and before he kept Moses in the like the basket, and left by the sea, River Nile, where Pharaoh's daughter saw Moses, loved the baby, adopted Moses, and brought up Moses as an Egyptian prince. So Moses was learned, was knowledgeable, wisdom in everything, was great. He was a great prince. When he was 40, he wanted to have dealings with his real blood people like the Israelites. He wanted to be close to his people. He wanted to know them more. So he visited them. And during that process, he saw two of an Egyptian maltreating the Israelite. And when correcting the Egyptian, the Egyptian died. And Moses, when he visited again, he saw two Israelites, you know, challenging each other, and he told them, why are they fighting among themselves? The one that was doing the wrong thing said, who made him a judge, a ruler or judge over them? That does he want to kill him the way he killed the Egyptian? So Moses realized that these people, there was any member of your own family. He thought they will accept him, but see what they are saying about him. They did not cover his crime. So Moses fled from Egypt. And when he got to where he fled, if let's get to verse 30. Verse 25. He expected his brethren to understand that God was granting them deliverance by his hand. Yeah, that brethren said, who made you a king, a ruler over us, or a judge? Then on the next day, he suddenly appeared to some who were quarreling and fighting among themselves, and he reconciled, saying, men, you are brethren. Why do you abuse and wrong one another? 27. Whereupon the man who was abusing his neighbor pushed Moses aside, saying, who appointed you a ruler and a judge over us? 28. Do you intend to slay me as you slew the Egyptian yesterday? At that reply, Moses sought safety by flight, and he was an exile and an alien in the country of Midian. So in Midian, Moses he got married and had two sons. And he he said when 40 years had gone by, so you see it's another 40 years has gone by.